Hello and welcome to What I Read, the series of short reviews where I talk about the books that I read this week, and we are talking about Batman #1 from September of 2025, written by Matt Fraction, art by Jorge Jimenez, lettered by Clayton Cowles, colored by Tomeu Morey. And this variant cover is penciled by Jim Lee, inked by Scott Williams, and colored by Tomeu Morey. And this was an absolutely amazing first issue, which really does a good job of setting its tone. Jim Gordon's back on the force, and he's a beat cop right now. He's kind of apparently just doing it to get exercise, I guess. And he's just getting his morning coffee with his new partner, Espinosa, when Killer Croc attacks a meat truck. And then we go to Arkham Tower, where Batman is talking to Dr. Zeller, who is explaining that Wayland isn't dangerous. He's out there and he's lost, and he's afraid, and he's changed a lot. And Batman is determined that people don't change. And he's at one point he says, no, he's Killer Croc now. I try to differentiate between him and Wayland Jones, but he hasn't been Wayland Jones in a long time. And differentiating between the two makes it easier when they inevitably disappoint you. Which, with the bright tones of this book, feels really wrong. I know there were a lot of people who were really angry about that, like when previews came out. But the story here exists to challenge him on that. Batman's got a whole bunch of new toys, and so does the GCPD. The GCPD has their new tactical urban combat officers, the Tucos, and they're supposed to call him in for everything. And these guys will just kill supervillains. And an important element is that even though Batman doesn't believe that Killer Croc has changed, he says, do not call the cops. They'll just make it worse. They will shoot to kill. But when he finds Croc is just sitting in a museum looking up at a dinosaur sculpture like the one that Batman used to own. And Batman sees what Dr. Zeller was saying, and he sits with him, and he talks, and, they talk about, their problems, their thoughts, the bad thoughts in their heads sometimes. And then the doctors come, and they get Croc, and it's beautiful. So Batman might be cynical, and he might be, ready to do violence, but he is also ready to just sit down with someone who's having a bad day. And I love that, and this is getting an A+.